I just wanted to drop some things that been going through my mind, and it's something that I knew from my learnings and from these past years, but I actually didn't put it to practice. For example, well, especially this Friday. What is it about? So basically, well, first of all, like I'm gonna talk about gold. Like I don't know like specifically why, like what's the main reason to this drop to come fill the gap and reject. It's true that since the price closed this gap here, I was out of the market and I just called it a day because, as I said, it was pretty much a quick, crazy long day. So yeah, after that, well, I missed the actually the best move that came afterwards. And yeah, I identified a couple of trades I could have taken, but definitely it's just as a learning. So for example, like here when price started shifting higher and all this stuff, so I could have maybe engaged, but I didn't want to execute anything. I was watching the market a little bit, but I actually decided to just remain out of it, as I said earlier. So, but yeah, the thing that has been playing in my head a little bit, and actually I was, like I said in the session video from Friday, was that here on Nasdaq, I took a bunch of losses because I was obsessed with the short side, as if it was maybe to reject from the gap and keep trading lower. But what did I miss here? Which is actually, I don't know, it came from my studies from market profiles and everything. And I was like, okay, there has to be something that I missed, and maybe, well, let's see if I can find a reason for it. Yeah, it wasn't like it was a huge move, but basically after when I started shorting, like which was around here, basically to the high of the market is 300 points, so it's actually a pretty beautiful range. What was that? Basically, I'm gonna get to this pretty quickly. So, um, first of all, when I was trading, I was very much seeing this price action. Like actually, I wasn't even paying attention to this. I was paying attention to the actual current day. So I was mostly in the gap and everything. So I was, just to be more exact, I was with this in my chart. And these swings that I had here that I actually already deleted from this RTH in here. And actually, it's funny because when I, at some point I took break even trade, I think, of some loss to the outside. This was my target, and yeah, my market beautifully got there. But anyway, the main point: what did I miss, in my opinion, and based on my understandings and the teachings that I've been learning from these past years? The market clearly here it opened and it opened gapped. It doesn't really matter how far, like I wasn't paying attention to how far was the gap, but it was actually quite small, 0.55%. Why this matter is because, first of all, the market is gapping down, but it is gapping down and taking Thursday and Wednesday low here, both of them entirely, but also stopping into Tuesday's value area, which is basically how this entire thing here. Basically, this that's why I have it on green, but basically this range here. This is where the market actually was tapping. It's not like I knew it could retrace from there, but if I would have been, if I was to be paying attention about that, I could have actually see that it makes sense that basically I just got overrun. That's the point here. It's not about if I would have been able to make money out of this. Probably I could, but it was more about why did I get overrun? And I think this explains a lot because regardless of me trading in that way or not, for example, I do not trade, let's say, based on this typical support and resistance, even though they can be considered the same way, the things I take or don't take. But it is quite, uh, I would say, important, especially for an intraday trader, to have, for example, daily highs and daily lows. For example, like Thursday highs and low, even though you see Thursday was pretty much a consolidation, was nothing. Then actually Wednesday was a little bit better, upside move. Actually, this is where when I participated, it was a pretty good trade. And then, and the point is, one thing I was actually checking was basically to get this area here, and then I was having this area here from the lows of the Thursday and Wednesday, and that's exactly where price actually gapped down. It gapped down here, and then it tried trading higher. So basically, it took whatever liquidity was there. I don't know how if my future self will understand the price the same way, but it makes a lot of sense that price trade lower, take all the liquidity here, retest this um, structure here before the price start trading higher, and then it just basically reclaimed this area again. So you actually kind of rejected the downside here and then start trading higher here. And I also saw later one thing was that I went into the values of this bar when it was later, sorry, as a study case, basically, I went and see the values, and clearly the price was just drying down here in amount of contracts that were traded at this level. So it was a pretty good sign that they might retrace. But at that point, I didn't pay attention to that. I was obsessed with the shorts, like I said. So that's why I took a bunch of losses there, basically. So you can say that I just got blind-eyed, pretty much. Anyway, the point that I wanted to make is that this is something that I should be watching. And also, one thing, and maybe this makes no sense for other people, but to me it does, and I'm actually gonna change it. Uh, the resolution you trade with is so important because, for example, especially for intraday traders, yeah, if you have like a bunch of screens and you are good with that, fine. But for now, I only have one, which is 34 inches. Point is, resolution is just HD, so it's not the best. So the thing is, when I trade, I mean, you can see my videos, or I can basically I can see them. I'm trading like this, pretty much. That means I'm missing in a way the big picture. But if I would have some decent resolution, I could have seen this pretty easily, in my opinion. Like gap here and then here. Like I wasn't paying attention to none of this then. But the thing is, this is something I would like to take from this past Friday, regardless of how it ended, and take it into account for the future. So it is important to see price reaction, especially when it gaps down or higher above previous daily highs and lows. So I think this is a pretty important point, especially when the price, besides taking these 2 days lows here, is also tagging into these couple of days value area, because there is also here was this Monday? Yeah, Monday also it was pretty also ugly day. So there is a bunch of stacks here as a well. These levels are these consolidations. That means price agreement. So yeah, I think I'm just going to try to remain more open-minded and maybe take a little bit more chill when it comes to the opening and see besides the gap itself where is the market actually opening, because it's not the same to have a gap within the range than a gap, for example, at the edges of the ranges. So yeah, that's something to take into account. And if in the future I'm gonna study this actually, and if in the future I see something similar and maybe I can execute upon, then yeah, I might do so, and I will try to make the do the best to spot the direction. And also one thing that I wanted to remind myself is that regardless of my days or my weeks being green or red, I know that I actually have a pretty great call when it comes to daily direction, based on my understanding, how I see price and how I see the momentum as soon as price develops. So I'm gonna stick to that, and I need to also work a lot into filtering my entries, because I noticed that I've been, well, like I said, sometimes I chase too much and I don't have it fully clear. So I think my overall direction of my trades are actually quite great. The read is pretty amazing, but I still need to filter better, and I need to focus more into remain more how to say, just more exclusive in my entry points and how I execute. I think when I get that straight and I get that sorted out, I think my trading is gonna get way better than it is right now. So yeah, I just wanted to take this lesson for myself, and yeah, let's see how it's next week. For now, I'm actually with my daughter, well, she's actually sleeping, but we actually been having a pretty good weekend together. We've been playing a lot and having really great self and present time. So yeah, tomorrow I hope it's gonna remain the same with her. I'm gonna spend the whole day again. I'm not gonna be touching the charge or anything. I just wanted to take this basically free evening time that I have to put it to voice and to have it out loud to say it there. So yeah, well, my future self, if anybody ever well sees this video, maybe they can get some credit out of it. But yeah, point is the next step is to me is to change the resolution of my trading. So I'm gonna just basically get a new screen, same size, 34, but it's gonna be 4K resolution, which I think is gonna improve my trading by a lot actually. Because not just it's gonna of course have better image or whatever, but it's also gonna allow me to intraday trade and see the somewhat the weekly or this basically past days price action, which is actually could guide me quite well to see the overall picture, regardless of me going into the daily or something like that. Because well, you can see here, like it's easy to just zoom out and see what's going on. But also, I think it's so important, especially if you're trading into let's say 5-15 minute time frame, to actually have a bigger image to see what's currently happening during this past 4 or 5 or maybe 7 days. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm gonna see how is next week, and yeah, I'm gonna, like I said, do my best to continue getting better. And well, let's see what does the my next step on my trading actually means, and what it's actually gonna be.